Well, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Let me know if you can hear me. I want to talk about something that people really need to know about, and that is that there is a state within us, a state of peacefulness, a psychological balance that we're getting way off of at times. And we need to come back to this state of home within us. This state of home is a state where we let go of everything that's going on. Everything that is affecting us, and we come back to this center point. I call it, you've heard of it, point zero. But you come back to this state within yourself where you're free. That you stop all the thinking, you stop all of it, and you come back to reset within yourself. This is a very important thing to be able to do, is to let go. Is to just let go and remember a feeling of home. This feeling of home isn't necessarily the home here. This could be a home, other dimensions, a higher perspective. The thing of it is that we have this perspective of this reality here, and unless we travel outside of that, utilizing our imagination, traveling outside of that, we have no other perspective than the one that's being fed to us. It takes a little bit of imagination. It takes a little bit of something that we can start to imagine what it would be like outside of this box. This box that's being fed to us. Once we step out of there and we go into this other aspect of ourselves, then we can start creating solutions, because this box is getting narrower and narrower and narrower. And you see it everywhere in the world. People are reacting. We need to be able to free ourselves from this that's going on psychologically. Psychological positioning of that someone else is in power over you. It's not true. None of it's true. I posted a video today with Red Skeleton talking about something very, very special and unique, in the sense that we're getting away from this sovereignty that we are as beings, where we're the government, and it's always been that way. We're the government, we're the ones choosing, right? And we can get all upset about it, or we can come back to this sovereignty. It's us that lost our sovereignty. And we need to come back to this sovereignty. We need to come back to this place of home within us. We're getting jangled. And if we come back to this state of home within us, we can reset. And we can reset a lot of things. We could come back to our true nature, which we really want to be able to share with our children, this state of home within ourselves. And so what I have something for you to listen to go through tonight. Again, we need to utilize our imagination and step outside of the confines so that we can have a different perspective of what's going on with ourselves. If we float out and have a different perspective of what's going on, or a distant perspective of what's going on, we can begin to make sense of things. We can start to dehypnotize ourselves from the hypnosis that's going on. One of these ways to do that is to have a journey. And so I prepared a journey for you tonight that you can listen to. And it's also below the player if you want to have it for your own. And this journey, we're just going to explore the imagination and get a different perspective. I hope you enjoy it. Just take a moment now and take a deep breath in and hold it to the mental count of 3, and then slowly exhale. Let's do that one more time. Take a deep breath in, hold it to the mental count of 3, and then slowly exhale. And for the next few minutes, I want you to thoroughly begin to enjoy deeper levels of comfort and deeper levels of connection to the greater part of who you are. To continue listening to this recording, I need to have your permission to allow me to speak to this greater part of you. If you don't give me permission, that's perfectly fine. Just shut the tape off now. All right. Each time that you breathe in, and each time that you exhale during this session, you simply find yourself becoming more and more tranquil, more peaceful. Each time that you simply let yourself relax like this, you return to a very deep part of yourself, a part of yourself that is home. Home is a place within you. Home is a memory of sometimes not even being here, but being from someplace else. A place with much more unconditional love and acceptance. It's perfectly fine to venture out and experience home again. But what's more important is for you to bring that information back with you when you return, so that you can feel, sense, see, hear that vibration of home in you first, surrounding you second, and being who you are amongst all the rest of the craziness that's going on. Always remember your home. As we take another deep breath in and hold it to the mental count of 3, and slowly exhale, we simply let go of that world there, that crazy world, and we begin to center into a much more harmonious place within us. We're going to go on a little journey, a journey of remembrance, A journey that you need to go on every once in a while. This journey takes you out beyond yourself and back to a place called home. There you can feel the vibration and remember what it's like, so that you can bring it back with you and use it here while you're stationed here. Most of you that are listening to this recording do understand you're stationed here for a while. You're stationed here so that you can make change here. Most of us have came in at this period in time to create change here. Some of us are so afraid of here that all we want to do is go home. But that's not why we're here. It's not why we came here is to simply exit again. We came here to make a difference. We came here to create a vibration of home here. As you take another deep breath in, hold it to the mental count of 3. Close your eyes if you haven't already. And simply let go. Let your mind relax like a muscle. And as you do, you automatically return to a place inside of you that's called midbrain. You can do this with your eyes closed or your eyes open after this recording. It's up to you. It's interesting to see the changes that occur when you do it with your eyes open. But for now, simply relax and allow yourself to begin to remember that from the crown of your head up is a tube of light. This tube of light is your tube to travel in and through dimensions. The first thing we want to do is to ask source energy to come down and surround us, to come down and swirl around us and surround us with beautiful protection. Nothing's allowed to enter this field while we're out venturing around. And take a moment to understand that your awareness is a very powerful thing. Whatever you become aware of, you give it life. As you think about the right toe, the big toe on your right foot, you didn't know you had one until I mentioned it. And now you're aware of it. And you can feel the bottom side of the toe. You can feel the top part of your nail. You might even feel the toe next to it. You see how your awareness makes things more. As I mentioned, your right earlobe. Again, you didn't know you had one until I mentioned it. The tube that runs from the crown of your head up through all the dimensions right to source energy is your direct connection to source energy. As you get curious with your awareness, I'd like the great part of you to assist us in this journey. Allow yourself to simply let go and begin to float As you let go and feel the buoyancy inside your body, simply allow yourself to travel up through this tube of light. We want to move beyond fourth dimension and into fifth. You may notice that fifth is a little more bluer in color than what Earth is. The skies are bluer. Everything around is bluer. But over there, if you notice, there's a group of old folks, light beings, that have come to greet you here in fifth dimension. And they're so happy that you came. It's like you've been gone forever. As they approach and welcome you, beyond them you can see crystal temples. These crystal temples are for the purpose of recharging you and rebuilding you. Everyone has their own temple here, and you have yours. And you can feel which one you're gravitated towards and begin moving to that temple. As we walk closer and closer, you can feel the vibration of transformation and healing here at this crystal temple. As you begin to walk up the steps, open the door and step in, you feel, sense, and see all the beauty, the sound of higher frequency, healing frequency. The crystals glisten in this temple, and the feeling is profound as it begins to enter into your being. As we walk around, we see a circular enclosure there. That's your space alone. You can invite people into your temple to visit, but that space is yours alone. You may want to open the door and step into that place and receive a healing, a transformation, whatever it is you desire. Simply step in and allow yourself to experience what it's like to simply let go and allow the energies to adjust your frequency so that when you return, you can bring this frequency with you. There are all sorts of interesting and nice things here in this special place. Monitors where you can view your life. Monitors where you can not only view your life, but you can send frequencies to your life, to your past, to your present, and even to your future. Here you can work on yourself and adjust your own emotional vibration. You can work on your past and clear things up and raise the vibration so that when you return, you feel in the present moment higher in frequency than before. You can look into the future and create and put things in your future, delightful experiences, joyful experiences. And when you return, you simply become very attracted to these experiences. life begins to unfold naturally for you. Here in the crystal temples, you can always return. You simply remember who you are here and why you've come to planet Earth. You're here to raise vibration, to change frequency with everyone that you meet. And with everyone that you meet, you assist the world to raise higher and higher in frequency. Take a few moments now and allow yourself to thoroughly enjoy the vibration here in your special place. Take time to do some healing on yourself. When my voice returns, we'll simply return to the present moment, back on Earth. Know that you can always return. Know that you can always work on yourself to raise your vibration, to clean and clear your past, clean and clear your future, and begin to create like the great being that you are. Bring all of this that you feel today and all that you've done with you as we begin to return, stepping out of your special enclosure into the main temple. We go to the door, head down the stairs, and we walk over to those old beings there, and we say goodbye for now, because you'll be returning on your own. And we travel back down the tube, down into our bodies, and we thank Source Energy for standing guard. Now it's time to return, awaken again. All you need to do is return at your own rate and speed, awakening, and notice the change in vibration in your body. And as you notice the change in the vibration of your body, you also know that in this present moment, you have changed the frequency of the present moment. And the present moment manifests the future. So now you know what to do, how to create in the fashion that you're designed to do as the great being that you are. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and allow yourself to get used to your new energy. Blessings to you from Dwaine. Well, hello. Let me know how that went for you. As we continue on in this wonderful experience that we came here for, we get to know each other, ourselves, deeper, more. And as we know ourselves more, we know who we are, we also know that we're more than just one life. We're eternal. And when we hit that aspect of understanding that we have been here many times, or here, or there, or everywhere else, that we also have information, we also have a memory of that. We all knew that we were beyond that when we came beyond this reality, when we came here. So, now for those that want that journey, it's below the player here, and you can have that for your own. And I think I'll go to the chat rooms now and see if you have any questions. And Mia got really sleepy. Okay. You're welcome, Omar. Well, I have quite a few on my site of guided meditations. If you go to my MP3 section, right, there's a lot there. And so let me know if you have any questions tonight, and I'll start answering. We live this confine. Being able to exercise your imagination like this and floating out to other places and experiencing other things gives you a different perspective on this here. When we go to, say, the crystal temples, when we go to other dimensions, it gives us a different look as to what's going on here, or not even going on here, but it gives us, we're not so trapped in this one thing. We can start thinking outside the box. We start realizing that we're freer, much freer than this. And that's my desire with whatever, I'm doing. Whether it's the sessions or the events that I'm doing or the group programs, is to have you come to this place where you understand that you are more. That we can have different perspectives and not be so locked into just one thing going on. That we have a ton of creativity. Omar's asking, what can I do to myself to claim the emotion that is infection? I'm not sure if I'm reading this right. Something with interaction. I'm not too sure just yet. If you want to repost that, Omar, I can give it another whack at reading that. Okay, Mia, there's a contradiction there, right? There's a contradiction with making a change or accepting what is. And we need to throw both those out and love self. What would be loving self? What would be loving the self? If you're loving the self, you're also loving source energy. You're also loving your own manifestations. A lot of play can be done on us over guilt, and it limits us. But if we come back into, we would want to teach our children to love themselves as well. That starts the process of moving forward. Healing is basically levels of loving self. And I don't mean love self and hurt somebody else. That's not what I'm talking about. That's narcissistic. What is loving self is valuing your own vibration. And that comes first. To value who you are. Other than that, I think that's what you were asking. Do you like my new do? I got to tell you a story, because it's a neat story, right? 20 years ago, I had a hairdresser, a fella that cut my hair, and he was really good. And he moved into the city here when I was still living in the country. He moved into the city, and I couldn't find him anymore, so I ended up losing track of him. And ever since, I was like, I really liked him. I mean, he was really, good, and I do my best with other people, but whatever. Then all of a sudden one day here, I go to a place over here close to me and see if I can get in, and no, they're booked up for the day. It was Saturday. And so I thought to myself, I'm going to go where, I wash the car. There's a barber there, and I'm going to go see. And I walk in the door, and there he is. It's his place. And we sit down, and I just walk in, and sit down, wait for him. And then when he was done, he had me sit in the chair, and he sat in the chair, and you could just see him go, like this, eh? He spun the chair around, and he goes, Dwaine! And he hadn't seen me in 20 years. And he was surprised he even remembered my name after all the clients he had. And it was such a good thing to finally see him again and talk with him, because, and after 20 years. And here he lives, and he is only a few blocks from where I live. That's where he has his shop. Crazy, eh? Oh, thank you, Omar. Okay, Kay Angel's asking, what is the best way to get rid of negative emotions? Focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. Focus on, you see, it's all about what's happening inside here. And so when we start focusing on what we want and what we would like, these things, we start opening up a channel of energy that's coming in that will help us create or get us vibrating on what it is that we want. When we're focused on the negative emotions come up and they go, here I am, and you go, oh my God, and then you can't help but thinking about them. It's about shifting. The negative emotions really do come in to share with you that you're off your path. And when you recognize that and you go and you shift to what it is that you want, then you start opening up that channel, right? So it's all about focus. It's all about refocus. So focusing your awareness. Remember, your awareness is like the great sun. Whatever it shines upon, things grow. Now, you want to grow good things. So take your awareness to what you want. You can understand through the negative emotion as, okay, so I used to always say to myself that if this is what, if this is what I'm getting, what must I believe in order to get what I'm receiving, right? So I'm getting this negativity, well then I must believe in negativity. But what do I really want? Well, I really want joy, comfort, peacefulness, these sorts of things. So then I started focusing on those things that I want. But the negative emotions can be an indicator for you to, it's time to focus on what I want. It's time to focus on where I need to go in life, right? Because we really create everything. And it's not even really, we create everything. And the thing of it is that this magical mirror that everything, we put into the mirror what we want, it's ruthless on giving it back to us, whatever we're thinking. And so this is the name of the game, is being able to raise vibration, which is focusing on what you want, raise vibration, focusing on loving self more, raise vibration, and what happens is that you start to connect with that stream that is you. It's, like I say, it's equal to the stream of negativity, it's just in the other direction. And so whenever we get negativity and we feel that negative emotion, we want to flip it to the positive and then start working that way. We can thank the negative emotion if you want to, or you can say, well, thank you. I understand this isn't where I want to go. So where do I want to go? Right? This is all part of the fact that they have done a number on us when it comes to our imagination. We used to think this way in ancient times. When you have a problem, you look for the solution, right? And for some reason, we've got flipped around here. And when we have a problem, we look at the problem and we keep creating the problem. Oh my God, I got a problem, right? And we start filling ourselves with problem that lowers our vibration and changes our future manifestation that's happening. So the quicker that we can get to what do I want and start focusing on that and those emotions, the quicker we come out of it. There's a lot here now. I hope I answered your question. Okay. Okay, I'm still reading here. During meditation about 3 to 4 months ago, I escalated into feeling intense vibration and beginning to see entities. I became fearful and stopped, and since then I have not been able to reach that state. Rodney. Yes. Now, the thing of it is that what happens is it's almost like our own fears playing on us, okay? The sooner that you can transcend that feeling of fear and realize you're in control and nothing has the right to do anything to you, you have the law of free will on your side, that you can bypass that. And once you bypass that, these are kind of common things that people experience because they literally don't know that they scared themselves. And they scare themselves in this sense that they open up. Know that that realm exists, yes, and you can float past that realm. And you can go higher into other realms where the entities don't come like that. And sometimes You can float, like with this journey to the Crystal Temple. You can float into and meet really wonderful ones too, right? That really do, want to say hi to you and glad that you showed up, right? So it is a transition one needs to make as you're moving through 4D. And like I mentioned in this journey, move beyond 4D into 5. There's a reason I said that. Because there's lots of trickery going on in 4D, and you want to go right past that and go right into where there's clarity in 5D. Julesy2 says, what a neat experience with the hairdresser. Yeah, after 20 years, and he still knew my name. Once he's seen me and felt my vibration, it was just boom, he knew who I was. So John's asking, what is the difference between suppressing negative emotions and making peace with them? Well, you can make peace with them, you can change them, you can do anything you really want to with them, because they're part of, again, our past. Our past is an illusion. Not everything in our past. If you take 5 people from the same family, they'll all have 5 different renditions of what the home life was like. So it's subjective. And so we have every right to go in and shift and change things if we want to, because these are the things that we're taking with us and packing around with us. And these are the things that lower our present moment vibration. There's a point, like I share with my clients, there's a point to therapy, to a point, and then you have to get over therapy and start being happy. And a lot of people don't know where that is, and so they'll kind of flip from therapy and moving through therapy, and then realizing, oh my goodness, I don't have anything out of my future, so I better find something else that I can work on. And so they end up doing that. And I say, no, you have to come to a point where you understand that you're freer than even the therapy, that you could start creating your own things. Now, I know I kind of went off on a tangent there, John, but negative emotions sometimes have their way with us, and we have to stand in truth and say, no, you're not allowed anymore. I'm moving forward, I'm raising vibration, and that's it. Because at the end of the day, when you deal with everything, there comes a point of healing, when you've healed. And a lot of people don't go in there because they've never thought of it. They've never thought of what that would feel like to be healed and to move beyond, right? Now, what will happen is negative emotions will try to keep calling you in. This is part of what I help people with removing the critic, because the critic is notorious for that. It loves to dig up every kind of thing and flash it in front of you, and this is who you are, this is who you are, when you're raising vibration. And so when we remove the critic, because it's a program, when we remove the critic, and then people start feeling and hearing the loving inner voice of Source, they shift quite quickly. And you don't have that negative emotion pulling you down. There's nothing that you did wrong, ever. And ever. One of the first things that we do when we're children is that we wonder what we did wrong. Because there was all of this, hi, oh my goodness, look at you, you're so cute, and then all of a sudden it changes one day. to, you haven't cleaned your room yet? Now, where did all that go? Right? Where did that go? All that nice stuff. A child will go, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? How come I can't? And then they start moving out from that point, trying to perform or trying to do or trying to whatever to get that back, right? And so when we realize that we haven't done anything wrong, we haven't done anything wrong at all, that aspect can honestly be the core that we start spiraling into negative emotion and, these sorts of things. I hope I answered your question. I'm kind of in a tangent day today. So the more that you focus on what you want, Mia, the more you realize you don't know what you want. Yeah, that's the point, right? What do you want? What do you really want? You're going from point A to point B. What is it that you want? Now, this is part of the fact that they have done a lot of work to strip the imagination from human beings. This is how they entrap them, enslave them. So, because if you had your imagination, you'd get yourself out of this predicament real quick. And so with the rest of the human race, they'd be popping out real fast. And I don't mean popping out in the sense of leaving the planet. I mean popping out of this trance and going, hey, wait a minute. This isn't right. Something like that. We would be able to raise above situations. We would be able to create our own solutions, these sorts of things. So, knowing what you want is the key. Awakening your imagination is the first one. What you can have anything. What do you want? You can do anything. What do you want? Because you're spiritual, creative being, what do you want to create? What do you want to do? And you just pick an avenue and start heading down it. And then things unfold. Someone's asking here, Brenda's asking, has Mother Earth already shifted into 5D? Okay. Dimensions. All exist. All exist here. There's shifts in perception. When you shift a perception from, I am, your belief system, everything is around the fact I'm here in 3D and I'm, whatever. I can't get to 5D. I can't, whatever. 5D's way out there somewhere. Remember, they put in the beginning here, they took source, God from within you, and put it out in the ethers somewhere on a piece of real estate somewhere in the heavens, and made it commander of you. And also, you could never get to it. You weren't worthy. It was a real sell job. The thing of it is that it is you. You are it. 5D is you. It's not somewhere you're going. It is who you are. And is 5D spreading here on the planet? Is Mother Earth spreading 5D on the planet? Of course. She's already there. And we're catching up. We're catching up as the human race. The thing it is that when you look at it from an individual perspective, you can do it much quicker than trying to get everybody else to do it. Right? just go and do it yourself, because that becomes a conduit of change on the planet. Begin living more 5D. Look into that person's eyes and smile and say hello. Recognize that God within that person, right? And you'll open people up, and they'll start asking questions. They'll start saying, how? What was that feeling? And they may not say that. They may just look and go, oh my goodness, what was that? Inside of themselves. As we're doing this and raising this vibration, we always think that it's some sort of piece of real estate somewhere out there that we're heading towards, when it's really right within us, and it's shifting consciousness through a shift of perception. The first perception we're shifting is that we're free enough to do that. We're free enough to do that. We're free enough to shift personally. It's where you get into the trouble is trying to shift everybody else, right? And you can shift you. Now people will ask you what you're doing, and that's in proper alignment. But going, waiting for the world to change, you'll wait a long time, right? But when we change, we say, okay, I'm making the commitment today, I'm changing. I'm going to see more love in life. I'm going to free myself, right, from all of this stuff that goes on inside of me that worries, concerns, and ongoing chatters about things that don't exist, and come back into my own vibration. This is why I want you to experience this state of home in you. Because when you come back to that state of home, you go into that state, then you're radiating that state, the state of peace, the state of home, and that state becomes now another one that's doing it on planet Earth and shifting through social consciousness, shifting the rest of the planet. So, I hope that answered your question. We're not going to go anywhere. We are it, and we're bringing it through. And she's changed already. It's just us catching up with our perspectives of who we are. John says, Dwaine has a good point, grasping, understanding my freedom. I need some time, practice to accept this. Yeah. This is what's gone on. This is what they've done to us, right? Is they made everything difficult, made everything way out there, corrupted everything. When it's a natural state within us that should be unfolding. Like I'd mentioned on another webinar, that back in the day of Zeus, he put people into a state of hypnosis, humans in a state of hypnosis, and split them in two so that they'd have an agreeable, disagreeable aspect to their consciousness, because he was jealous that they would rise up to a level of becoming gods like him, and he was jealous. So he did this to the human race, right? And you can read up about that, how he did that. And what we're doing here is bringing that split back together, right? And no, it's not your twin flame. It's actually a split inside your own psyche, where we are socially hypnotized and have this social mask that we play and put on, and then we have our true self, which is a different thing that, in the social reality shall never be exposed. And we've got a lot of people that are saying now and feeling now it's time to come out of the closet as to who we are. Once we do that, and once we come out of the closet and say, no, I am I am the Lord God of my own being. And I've always known things. I've always understood things, right? I've always seen things differently. And it's okay. When we start doing that, we start getting into the expansiveness of human consciousness instead of a hypnotized tunnel vision. Omar, there needs to be what's happening is that you're highly perceptive, you have abilities, you're picking up on more levels than you may or may not know. You're picking up on a different level. There was a trick somebody showed me one time. You can do this, and when you're having too much communication coming in from the human race, right, and it's like, so you have to stay secluded or whatever to get away with that, there's a little door behind your right ear. Close it, and when you close it, it shuts that off, because it's happening on a telepathic level and it's happening on another level, and so you're hearing all of this chatter. Close it and give yourself some peace for a while. And then you can actually walk out into public and be around public without that interfering. When two people are arguing in physical, and then they go away and they argue for another week in their heads with each other, right? That's what's going on. Is that argument is real, and it is happening on another level, and it continues until one of them closes the door. And when they close the door, that's it. That this one here is arguing for nothing now. And because I don't know if you've ever had that experience of arguing with somebody in your mind, or trying to convince them in your mind, or whatever, and this goes on long after the actual fight. I can't believe they did that, and why did you do that? And then you start talking to this person, and when you realize you're doing that, you shut the door. Now, I don't know if this is one aspect of it, Omar, and the other aspect that you're talking about is actually receiving too much communication. And so if you close that door, or put up some protection, reflect some of this back, right? Or cut off the connection there for a while, and then you'll find that it's more peaceful. Yes, Lars, we have to own this natural state within us, to come back home and realize that, there's a dichotomy. Everything is real and unreal at the same time, and I live in that space where I understand that, yes, this is real, and it's also unreal at the same time. And I live in that center place where, sometimes things that appear very, very real, I can go into it's unreal, and then they float right by, and they don't bother me, right? Other things have to be more real, and so you make that choice inside you, what is going to be real and unreal. Remember, when you take it on, whatever it might be, when you take it on, you're the one choosing to take it on. You're the one choosing to entertain it, and right? And there's a really interesting set of videos, lots of videos on him, Alan Watts, and he talks about the fact that we do a lot of postponement to enlightenment. The two things that we do a lot of is we postpone true love, and we postpone enlightenment. And I know that's hard to understand. It is for me too. But we will divert ourselves with all kinds of nonsense and problems and things so that we don't have to stand on the precipice and face the reality that there's nothing in front of us but what we create. and that we're creating all of it. And so what we end up doing is stepping back and into denial and saying, no, it can't be me. It can't be me creating everything. But yes, it is. And you are in a symbiotic relationship with source energy. Source energy becomes the things that you desire to go through, whether your desire is of liking or not liking. Whatever you focus on, you're going to create experiences of that. And source becomes that experience so you can go through it, so that you could take that information and send it back to source, because source wants to know what it is. And you volunteered to come down here and experience that. You also come here to do a lot of other things. One experience that a lot of people have come here for is to change the vibration of this planet, to make it more 5D. And that's why you're here, right? So like I say, start utilizing your imagination, go on some journeys, get some different perspectives, go out and step out, do some healing work on yourself, on the world, on the planet. It's all helpful. And this isn't just, there isn't just one channel, this socialized trance that is available to you. The whole universe is available to you. And start to step out and experience some of that stuff. Because utilizing your imagination is key and to all of it working. And because if you can't imagine yourself there, you can't go there. And so once you imagine yourself there, that opens up a whole bunch of new things for yourself. The lucid dreaming, the only thing that I have ever heard of, worked with, is when you start to bridge between, this was Rodney who was asking, with lucid dreaming, the thing that I have heard about and practiced and played with, and that's when I realized that there's more dimensions here than we even know, is when you're awake, you start saying, you stop for a moment, shut down your thinking, and you say, am I awake right now or am I asleep? Is this the dream? While you're awake. And you start bridging and starting to bridge between dream state and awake state, which dream state is just you in your in another dimension. Okay? And so you start bridging between the two, and you start getting more control of your dreams too, right? So this was the one thing that I played with and practiced, and started to blur those edges of what is dream and what is so-called reality, when there's many realities here. Every human being that you meet has a different and separate reality. They all claim there's one, of course, but it isn't that way, because, out of all the people that I've worked with, which are thousands of people I've worked with, each one has a separate and different reality, with a little bit different than the next one and whatever, and it's all individualized reality, trying to convince themselves that there's one, so that they're not, segregated from the group. The thing it is that we're all individuals. Hello, thank you, Dwaine. I'm enjoying watching your videos. Well, thank you. And I guess it's time already. It's 10 minutes after. Holy, I went way over. Just babbled along. So if you want the journey that you heard tonight on here, it's just below the player, and you can get your own copy. And other than that, for those of you that are in and around where I live here in Alberta, I'm going to be in Vancouver soon, coming up. This is the next event for me, and it's going to be a one-day workshop, and we're going to work through stepping into your unbounded spirit. What we're going to do is do a workshop on releasing and letting go of the critic and stepping into your unbounded spirit, and much more. I'm going to be talking about the things that I found out that they have done to trick us and control us, and how to come through that and free yourself. So it's going to be a fun time in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. So look forward to bringing that information to you as well. So we have to pick dates and location, which is coming. I've already got the location, just got to wiggle that in. It's nice in Vancouver. I've been there to the island once in my life. Look forward to going back. All right, so thank you for coming out tonight. And if you need sessions, let me know. Right now, you can get in to see me again, so that's good. And so if you need sessions, let me know. Come to my site and go ahead and check it out. And we will talk to you soon and wiggle a bit. Wiggle. I see in the chat room here. And blessings, and bye for now.
To be called.